Hi guys, welcome back to a very important JavaScript video. In this video, I'll talk about micro frontends. I will talk about vanilla JavaScript in this video, but micro frontend architecture can be used in other JavaScript libraries or frameworks like the Angular, Vue, Svelte, or React, or Next.js even. So I will talk about JavaScript in this video, but in the upcoming videos, I'll talk about and create a micro frontend application using React and Next.js as well. So first of all, let's talk about what is micro frontend before moving towards the practical and start writing code and build the micro frontend application. So micro frontend is an architectural pattern for developing web applications where user interface is composed of independently deployable and scalable front-end modules. So you might have used the microservices on the backend technologies, like we build the small projects on the backend and then we combine all those small projects into one large application. Same concept is used on the front end side, but on front end side we call the same concept as the micro front end. Second point is very important, that the goal of micro front end is to break down a large monolithic front end applications into a smaller and more manageable parts that can be deployed, developed and maintained independently. It means that if you have a team of developers, you assign specific modules to a different team. Each team build on a specific module. Let's say that one team is working on the cart module of an e-commerce application, other team is working on the products page of the e-commerce application, then the third team is responsible to combine those two modules into one big application. So one team is responsible for combining all those modules and other teams are responsible to build independent modules of this applications. I will quickly talk about the benefits. So the first one is the decomposition. The front-end application is divided into smaller self-contained modules called the micro front-end. Each micro front-end represents a specific feature, page, or functional area of the application. This is what I've already explained to you. And it has a one benefit called independence, that each team who is working on a module are independent. They are not dependent on the other teams who they are working on. All right, so this allows different team to work on different parts of the application without stepping into other stores, right? And the same way, when each team is working independently on each of their modules, it is scalable independently, which allow us to allocate resources more efficiently based on the demand of each part of the application. And when we build the micro front end using JavaScript or any other framework, we have the reusable modules, reusable components. The each module, if we build and merge it into one application, the same module we can actually reuse in other applications as well. So the components that are common across the micro front end, such as the design elements, utility functions, can be shared across the other applications to reduce the duplication. And the last point is the integration. This is very important, that what are the different ways that we combine all of those modules into one parent application. So there are multiple ways we can use and build the APIs. We can use the events, we can use the other mechanism to show that they work seamlessly together. We can build the npm packages as well. When each team is working on different modules, we can build we can deploy each module into different URLs, and the container, the parent application, actually can use that different module to integrate using that URL, which is used to deploy that different modules. All right, so I hope that you have got an idea from the theory. Now I will talk about and write some code in core JavaScript, and I will taking an example of the products and the cart module, and I will be creating three applications. One is the container parent application, the second one is the products, the third one is the cart application, and I will show you how we can create a micro front-end application in core JavaScript. So I have opened up VS Code and opened up an empty folder. In this folder, I will be creating couple of more folders. So the first folder is, I would say, a container, which is responsible for combining other applications. It is a responsibility and job of a different team when you are building a micro front-end application. Another folder that I will be creating, let's name it products. Okay, so let's build one simple product application in this folder. So I will be creating a new folder inside it, and I'm going to name it src, and it's going to contain the different JavaScript files. So the first JavaScript file, let's name it the index.js, and I'm going to open up a terminal. And in this terminal, let's go inside the products folder. So let's go to inside the products folder and let's initialize it with npm. Npm is the node package manager, and it is responsible to install the different external third-party libraries which needs to be used in different applications, whether it's Angular, React, Vue, Svelte, or even the vanilla JavaScript code. So I will be using the npm init. Make sure you have the node and npm installed in your system. So first of all, it is asking me to name, variant, description. I'll simply hit enter, and now you will see that if I open it up, it will be creating this package.json file, and this file is very important, and scripts object is used to write and run different commands, which I will just show you that how we can add scripts. But first of all, I'm going to install few dependencies that I will be using to actually build this small mono front end application called products. Okay, so I will be using the npm install here in the terminal, and I will first install the chance package, which is used to actually create some dummy data, just to show you. This is just for example. So then I will be writing the html webpack and plugin. Okay, it is used to actually reference different JavaScript files in our HTML file, and make sure you install the specific versions which I'm installing, because while building the micro front-end application, the versioning is very important. The third package I will be installing is simply the Webpack. This is also very important, and the version of it I will be installing is 5.88.0. Okay, then I will be installing the Webpack CLI, and it is of version is 4.10.0. Then the last package I will be installing is the Webpack dev server, which is used to run our application on the browser. So Webpack dev server, and its version is going to be 4.7.4, and I will hit enter. It's going to install all of these 5 packages and download it from the internet, from specific library of it, and it's going to install and create a new folder in our products folder, which is going to be called the node underscore modules. This is how the npm works, the node package manager, and this is how we are going to be using the Webpack to actually run, build our application. All right, so you can see that these packages have been added in the dependencies object. You can see these are the references, and now the node underscore modules folder have been created and all of these packages have been installed in it. You might be confused that why all of these folders exist over here. So these dependency packages have their own dependencies as well. One, maybe the Webpack might have the 20 other packages as well. So all the internal dependencies have been installed in node underscore modules folder as well. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called the Webpack. Understanding Webpack is very important as well. Webpack, you can call it a module bundler, which is used to combine all of your files, the CSS file, the assets file, compress it and make it runnable on the browser. Okay, so Webpack is very important. So I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to name it webpack.config.js. In this file, I'm going to add few the configurations of the Webpack. So first of all, I'm going to write the module.exports equals to object, and this object is going to contain all the configuration properties that I need to use in my project. Okay, so first of all, let's give it the mod development, because we are currently in the development mode. We are developing our application. All right, so once we write this out, let's go to the package.json file. I'm just going to remove it, and I'm going to write the build command over here, and against it I'm going to write the Webpack. All right, so now if I run the build command, it's automatically going to trigger Webpack, and what it's going to do is, currently if we have this index.js file, let's write some code inside it. You know that I have already installed the chance package from the chance, and inside it I can create different names. So I can write the chance equals to the new and then the chance class. Okay, so it has to be the capital C. Now if I want to, let's try to log this out first of all. So I'm going to write the chance.name function. I'll be writing some more functions inside it. All right, but first of all, we have written something over here. Let's come in the terminal and start writing npm run build, and build is the key name which I've added in my package.json file, this one, and I have written over here. If I hit enter, you will see that the Webpack is automatically going to get triggered, and it successfully compiled all of our files which we have created in our project. Currently, we only have one file, index.js, and over here, the dist folder have been created. So if we had to create the tens of files in our source folder, all of those files might be merged into one single file or one or two files in a compressed format. So in the .js format. So this file, you can see that it contains all the compiled code which is required to actually run our project on the browser. Okay, so when we have a large application, then even those large application automatically gets compiled, compressed, and converted into one bundle file. Sometimes you might see bundle.js over here because of the different version of Webpack, but I have this main.js file. All right, so this is how we can initialize a simple web app application, run the bundler for it, and compile it to make a dist folder, and inside it we have this one main.js file. So let's move further in our index.js file and write some more code inside it. So I'll remove this console log and I will initialize a new variable. Let's name it products equals to empty string. Let's start off writing a loop. Okay, and inside it I'm going to create a random name variable. Let's use the chance dot name function, and I'm going to write the products equals to products plus, and I will be creating a new HTML element called the div. Let's add the random name inside this div. After this, let's log the products variable in which all the names of these products will be added. So we have this products.length which is not added yet. Let's add the 5 over here. So 5 random names will be generated through this function. So we actually want to run our project on the browser. So one thing we know that we need to have an HTML file so that our UI or these names are loaded up on the browser. But before that, we need to set up a server that when we start our project, it needs to be loaded on the localhost /some post. So I'm going to come inside the webpack.config.js, and below this mod, I'm going to write another property dev server. And inside it I need to give it a port, so I can give any port to it. So I will be naming it 8081. all right, so I'll just save it. I'm gonna go inside the package.json file and I'm going to create another command over here, and I'm going to name it start, and then I'm going to write the webpack serve. In the terminal, I'm going to run this start command, npm run start. Okay, so now you can see that it has successfully compiled and it has automatically detected this port which I've added using the serve command. So if I go up, you will see that it is showing that the localhost 8081, this is where our application is running. So I'm gonna go and load up that localhost 8081 in my browser. So here I'm going to write 8081, hit enter. You will see that it is not showing anything. The reason is that we don't have an HTML file, but using this we can actually use the main.js file. If I hit enter, you will see that this main.js file have been loaded up over here. All right, but we don't want to actually print this. We want to have those 5 names which we have generated over here. So let's create our new file, index.html. First of all, I'm going to create the public folder, and inside this public folder I'm going to create a new file, index.html. all right, so I'm going to write a basic infrastructure over here. So we have this title, and inside this body we can have we can include this main.js file. But sometimes this cannot be the main.js file. It will be the bundle.js file. It can have another name. Okay, so we cannot actually use the script tag to load this JavaScript file, because this main.js file is going to have this code loaded up, all the names to be added. So there is another way. Using the Webpack, we can actually load up this main.js file to actually add it in this HTML document automatically. So the script tag and its source attribute will be automatically added with the address of this main.js file. So in my Webpack file, I'm going to import a package which I have installed using the npm install at the start of this video. So this is called the HTML Webpack plugin. Okay, and this is coming from the require HTML Webpack plugin. All right, so I'm going to use this one in the plugin, so I can have the a lot of plugins to be used in the Webpack. So below this, I can use the plugins property, and it's going to have an array. So new HTML Webpack plugin, and inside it has an object. So the template colon public index.html. Okay, so now this is going to be responsible that it's going to find out this dist folder, and it's going to add its main.js file, whatever the file name is in the dist folder. It's going to add its reference in our index.html file, which is created in the public folder. Okay, so now if I save it, let's save this HTML file. And one thing, let's add in the body. Inside it, I'm going to create a div element. Okay, so I'm going to create a div. All right, and I'm going to assign it an ID. So let's give dev dash products. Okay, so let's save this file. And now I'm gonna go inside this index.js file, and after this I'm going to update the inner text of this div with this data which is being generated in the JS file. All right, so this is just for the logic to show the data is visible. I'm just showing you that how we can create a simple JavaScript application using the Webpack to run our application on the browser and host it on any of the server. Okay, I've not yet added actually in this project or a module or the micro frontend in my container application, because many people will not be able to understand what is Webpack, how to create web app application using the vanilla JavaScript. That's why I'm covering these concepts, so you better understand that how to create a simple web app application in vanilla JavaScript. Okay, so I'm going to come inside the index.js file, and inside it I'm going to write the document.get element by ID, and the ID name which I have given is the dev products in the HTML file, and I'm going to update the inner HTML with the products. All right, so first of all, I actually need to run this build command so that this main.js file gets updated. So I'm going to come in the terminal, and I'm going to run npm run build command. So it's going to automatically build this index.js file and index.html file, and then it's going to get updated over here. Okay, so then I'm going to write npm run start. So it's going to run the webpack serve command, and now if I run this localhost colon 8081 slash main.js file, let's refresh. Actually, let's remove the main.js file, simply the server. And now you can see that these file names have been generated, and these are the dynamic. If I refresh this page, you can see that this is going to be gets changed. So its reference have been added every time this is going to get updated. This file is going to get executed. Its reference is automatically added in the index.html file using the Webpack HTML Webpack plugin. And this is how we can create a simple JavaScript vanilla application using the Webpack. Now it's time to go and set up our container project and use this product project to be built and merged in our container project. After this, I will be creating another project cart, and I will be merging both of products and cart modules, the micro front-end applications, in one container application which I have created above. So initially container project is going to have the same structure which we have built in the products folder. So first of all, I'm going to come in the container folder in my terminal. So let's come here and I'm going to navigate to the container folder. Let's initialize our project npm init, enter, and in the container folder we know that this package.json file have been created, and again we need to install all of those dependencies which we installed in this products project. But first of all, let's create some files inside it. I'm going to create the webpack.config.js, and it's going to be similar to this one, the products one, this one, but instead I'm going to create a different port for this. We have this development mod, we have this public index.html which we have added over here. So first of all, I'm going to create a couple of folders over here. One is the public, the other folder is, I'm going to name it source. Okay, so inside it I'm going to create index.js file. So I'm just going to log this out for now, the container. Okay, and inside the public file I'm going to create the index.html. Okay, so this has been generated and this is the default HTML structure that is added. So I'm just going to change its title. Let's change it to container, and also let's change the title of this file as well. So this is the products. Okay, so now let's go in the container project, and inside it I'm going to install my dependencies which are required. Okay, so in the terminal I actually can hit the above arrow to navigate to the previous command. So this is all the packages that I installed, but in here I don't actually need this chance package to be installed, but if it is installed, there is no problem. Okay, but I'm just going to remove that. So HTML Webpack plugin, we have this Webpack, then Webpack CLI, Webpack Dev Server. Let's now install another package called the NodeMon. NodeMon is actually automatically rerun our server whenever any change happens in any of the file. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. It's going to download all of these packages from the internet, and it's going to create package log.json and also the node underscore modules folder which I've already explained you. Okay, next I will show you that how we can actually, so there seems an error, no magic variant found, the Webpack. Okay, there has to be a space before NodeMon which I forgot. So let's add the space. Now hit enter. Now it's going to install that. So after this I'm going to actually export this products project, and I'm going to import this project files in the container project. All right, there are multiple ways we can do it. As I've told you at the start of this video, we can use the npm package, but I'm going to export this products folder, products project actually, using the URL, and from that URL I'm going to import that in my container project. So first of all, I'm going to open up the webpack config.js file of my products project. Okay, and inside it I'm going to actually import one plugin, and this is module federation plugin. So I'm going to write module federation plugin, and I'm going to require it from the webpack. So I'm going to write the webpack /lib/container /module federation plugin. Okay, and just like I'm using it in the plugins array, I can use this one, module federation plugin, and inside this object I'm going to add 2-3 properties. First one is the name, and this name is I will be using in my other container project to actually use the functionality of this project. Okay, so here I'm going to write the products, and this is the name of this project. I can name anything to it, and after this I'm going to give it a file name, and it can be anything, but I'm going to give it the file name is the remote entry. Okay, so consider this products project as a remote and this container project as a host. Okay, and when we will be creating the cart project, that you can consider the remote as well. Okay, so we are actually hosting these projects, products and the carts, and we are considering as a remote, and we will be using it in the container host project. Okay, after this we are going to expose these this project. Okay, and inside this I first need to actually give it a URL. So I'm going to write dot slash, and I can give it the products index. Okay, I can name it anything, and after this I need to give it a path of that file which I want to expose. So the file which I want to expose from this project is only the index.js file for now, but we can actually expose multiple files as well. So I'm going to give it src/index. All right, so now that's pretty much it for this file in the products project. Now we need to copy this line, and I'm going to open up the webpack.config.js file of this container project, and also let's try to copy this one as well, the plugin usage. Okay, and inside it I'm actually going to use this name, and I'm going to name it container. Okay, and I don't want the file name and exposes, I just want to use that. So I can actually use the remotes property, because the other projects are the remote projects and this project is the host, which I've already explained you. And now I'm going to use the products key which I have actually added over here, the name, and inside it I'm going to use the URL. So I'm going to use the name at, and in which URL this is going to get running. So we know that in our browser this is the URL where our products project is actually running. So I'm going to actually paste this one, http:/localhost 8081, and after this we need to give it the file name which we have actually added over here, file name, and the file name is remote entry.js. Okay, so I'm just going to write the remote entry.js. All right, now we are actually exporting index.js file, and it is going to be used in our index.js file of our container project. Okay, so in order to use it in our container project, first of all we actually need to import and use that URL. So I'm going to create a new file over here, and I'm going to actually name it bootstrap.js. Okay, and inside it I'm going to import that. So I'm going to use the products/products index, which I have actually created in my products config file, just showing you this one, products index, and then the products actually. Okay, so products/products index. All right, now I can actually use this import in my index.js file. So just remove it. I'm going to use require and /bootstrap. Okay, so it is automatically going to get, because in this webpack file this index.js file is going to get executed. So let's try to run both of these projects. Now the way to test is, this project is going to be running on the 8080 port, and this project was running 8081 port. All right, so first of all I'm going to be running this one, npm run start. So this is, let's create another terminal, and inside this projects folder, let's see, we are in the container. Okay, so we only have this test command. Let's go ahead and try to copy this start command from here in the package.json file of the container project. Let's save it. Now let's first try to run the products project. Okay, so I'm going to run npm run start. We are already running that. So this project is actually running on the local host 8081. Okay, if I come over here, if I refresh, you can see that it's perfectly running. Now if I run my container project npm run start, it will be running on the port 8080, which I've just shown you in my webpack.config.js. So you can see it's running on 8080. Let's try to run this as well. So localhost 8080, if I hit enter, go to inspect, there seems an error. So in the console, so you can see that the type error can't read properties of undefined reading call. All right, so the reason it's throwing an error because in this index.js file we are actually using this property get element by id dev element, but in this html of the container project it does not have that particular div with the id dev product. So I'm just going to copy this line. I'll come here and I'm going to paste it over here. Let's save this file. Now because I have saved it, let's now run my container project again. It will be running on 8080 port, so I think it started running, it is compiled. Now let's refresh. There seems an error again. Let's see what's wrong here. So we have this bootstrap file which is added over here, and we have to use the import here. We cannot use the require, sorry. So now let's try to rerun our project, npm run start, and let's refresh now. And now you can see that this container project is actually using the logic of index.js file of the products project. Okay, this is looking so great because we are utilizing this file which was created in another project, and we are using it in our container project. So this is how we can export different modules using micro frontend through the URL and use that URL to actually use its functionality in another container host project. So currently we have this container and we have this products as a remote, and container is the host. Now let's create a third micro frontend project just like the products project. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to name it cart. Okay, and inside it I don't want to write all of these files again and again. So first of all, I'm just going to copy this package.json file from the products folder and I'm going to paste it in my cart folder. Okay, so let's create a third terminal for this cart. Okay, so I'm going to go inside the cart folder, and inside it, when you have this package.json file, you can actually automatically create this package log.json and the node underscore modules folder. I have created and copied this package.json file so that I can have these commands automatically added and these dependencies automatically added over here. Let's change the name of it, it's just for reference over here. And in order to install these dependencies, I can simply write npm install, and it's automatically going to detect these dependencies from this dependencies object, and it's going to create the node underscore modules folder and the package log.json file. All right, meanwhile it's installing these dependencies. Let's try to actually copy paste this public folder and this source folder as well from the products micro frontend project. So I'm just going to copy these two folders and I'm going to paste over here. These have been pasted over here. Let's undo this. Let's try to copy public and then the source folder, both of these folders. I'm just going to copy that. So in the cart, let's paste that. So these are pasted. Let's go to our public file, and I'm going to change the title of it, change this to cart, and I'm just going to save this file. Let's go to our index.js file, change it to cart. This is the name, and I'm just going to change the variable name. This is not just going to make the functionality difference, but this is for our understanding. All right, so rather than actually printing out the name, I'm going to, let's give it addresses. Okay, using the same chance, and we are actually done with it. Now what we need to do is we have to actually go to and create a new file, webpack.config.js file. Okay, and in this file I'm just going to copy paste everything which I have written over here in the products webpack file. Okay, so I'm just going to paste that over here, and inside it we have this development. We already given the port 8080 and 8081 to other two projects, the container and the products project. Let's give it a port 8082. Okay, and we have this public index.html. We don't need to change that. Let's change the product to cart. We don't need to change this file name as well. and we don't need to change the source index as well. We actually need to add the cart show whatever is written over here, and yeah, so I think we are actually have copied all of these files in our cart project. Now let's try to run the cart project separately. Currently I have not actually exported anything from the cart or added the integration in my container micro front end project. Okay, but first let's try to see if our cart project is successfully running on this 8082 project or not, and it needs to actually print these addresses, 5 addresses, using this loop. Okay, so in my terminal I'm first going to npm run build so that our dist folder automatically gets generated. Now you can see it gets generated. All right, and now you can see that it has actually generated these files because we have actually added these different files over here, remote entry and stuff like that. Now let's try to run npm run start in my terminal. So it should be running on port 8082 which I gave to it. If I go above, you can see it's running on 8082. Let's try to run this and see if it works perfectly or not. So here we have this products folder, we have this container, these are not running. We are independently running this one 8082. So I'm just going to copy that, let's paste that, change it to 8082, hit enter, and now you can see that this is the automated generated address by the chance dependency. If I refresh it, it will be changed. So our cart project is running, being served using the Webpack on the correct port which we have given over here. And now using this module federation information, I need to export this URL which I have already done, and now time is to integrate it in the container micro frontend project. So in my container folder, let's open up this webpack.config.js file, and just like I added this URL for the products, I can add the URL for the carts as well in order to use it in my container micro frontend. Okay, so I'm going to use the cart, and let's change its name to cart because we added its name in our cart configuration. Let's go over here so you can see this is the name. uh, After this, we are actually running it on 8082 port, and then we did not change this file name remote entry, because if we go over here you can see this name have not been changed. Okay, so that's pretty much it we need to do in webpack config file. Now let's go to our bootstrap file, and just like I imported these products, I can actually import the cart as well. So we have actually given the name cart, and after this we actually gave the name cart show. So now let's go to our webpack config, and this is the name that we need to give it to in the bootstrap. So this one. All right, and next what we need to do is we need to actually show it on the UI. So in my public file index.html, you can see that we are only showing the products over here in the container micro frontend, which is coming from that products micro frontend application. I would like to give it some headings as well so that you can better understand. So this is the products uh, data, and then I'm going to write this is the cart data. Okay, and after this I'm actually going to give it an ID which needs to be added. So let's go and check what was the ID added. So this is the dev cart, and we actually needs to run the dev cart. All right, now if we run our application, these three files, that was pretty much it in order to integrate the cart micro frontend application. So let's run the cart and the products applications. So both of these applications are running on the 8082, and other one is running the 8081. Now let's run our container project by running the npm run start command. Now all three projects are running. Now if I go to my browser, and this is the container Okay, if I refresh, now you can see that it's actually showing all the products and all the carts. So we are actually utilizing the functionality of micro front end applications. One is the cart, other is the products, and utilizing its functionality using the Webpack module federation plugin. And this is showing over here. If I refresh, you can see that it's keep on changing because it is changing actually in the real micro front end application. We actually need to add a lot more stuff inside it. Quickly in this video, I'm gonna show you how we can actually make the dependencies of container, the products and the cart project, just like we are actually using this dependency, which is the chance, in our JS file, how we can make these packages shareable in our parent container micro front end application. So let's open up the Webpack file of that product and the cart micro frontend project. So I'm gonna go in the cart file. So here after this, I can actually have this property shared. Okay, and inside it we have an array, and any of the dependencies that is being used in this project we can put up here, and it will be shareable in our parent micro frontend project, which is the container. So currently we only have this chance dependency. All right, so this is what we can set it shareable, and just like in this file we can actually add it in the products Webpack file as well. So I'm just going to add it over here. All right, now if I'm gonna go and run these projects, let's try to run all of these projects and let's see if it's working fine currently or not. By adding this particular property, I'm gonna go in this one container, let's refresh. Now it's working fine, but if I go over here, let's refresh over here, you will see that these projects are not now independently working. All right, if I go to console, you can see that shared module is not available for eager consumption. What we need to do is we actually need to load now these dependencies asynchronously in our separate projects. Okay, so in order to do that, it automatically done by the Webpack, but it recommends us to actually load the other files, the logic in this index file, which is added over here, source.index. Okay, so what do I mean by that? First of all, in the source folder, I'm gonna create a new file and I'm going to name it bootstrap.js. All right, and I'm going to copy paste everything from the index.js file in this file bootstrap, and I'm going to actually import it over here. Import is a quite an awesome keyword. It actually asynchronously load the code which is added in that file. Okay, so I can actually write the bootstrap file over here. All right, so now we are actually done with the products. Now let's go over here in the products folder, let's refresh. Now you can see that it's working fine, and if I refresh the container, it's working in the container as well. Okay, and if I go to the card, the same error is going to be shown over here. So similar step we actually need to do. So import automatically asynchronously load all the JavaScript file that we write over here. Now in this file, I'm going to write the bootstrap.js file, and inside it I'm just going to copy paste everything from here in this file and just load up that bootstrap using the import keyword. So I'm going to write bootstrap over here. All right, now if I refresh the cart page, you can see that error is gone. Now all of these micro front-end projects are working fine, including the container project. All right, so it's always a good practice, whatever the dependency you are using in the micro front-end host remote projects, you actually have to add this in the cart, this one module federation plugin, the shared and the chance. Okay, another benefit of it is that in the container micro frontend project, if more than one micro frontend other projects are using the same library or the same dependency, the container micro frontend project is only going to load once in this parent host project. All right, so I have shown you how we can create micro frontend projects in vanilla JavaScript, two remote projects and one container micro frontend projects. In the upcoming videos, I'll be showing you how we can create micro frontend projects using the React, Angular, Vue, Svelte, or any other JavaScript framework. If you have liked this video so far, don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit the like button and comment below if you have any question. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in the next video.